Yo, how's it going? I'm nearly finished with the final row of Game Boys on the top. That's gonna be fun. Tonight I'm gonna design a like a MIDI splitter to involve these things, and then also make the output of it finally. That's going to be ready for the London gig, which I'm trying to take this on with. I'm not going to be able to take the Game Boy Mega Machine with me on tour. It is so heavy. Figuring it out, it's a ridiculous one, but it's coming to the London show at least. So yeah, that's some funky news. Right now I am starting to get ready for tour by building a new MIDI controller. This used to be this was the Furby organ MIDI controller, but for some reason at some point I took the insides out of it, so I'm just rebuilding it. Basically what it is just an old organ keyboard, and what the organ keyboard is basically there's just a wire that goes along the top, and then each of these buttons has a little bit of metal that when you push down it touches on that wire. So I've put the 5 volts along that wire, and then each of these have separate wires going to them, and yeah, it's just plugged straight into a Arduino Mega. So each of these are connected to that. I haven't written the code yet, but I will no doubt share it when I do. It's going to be no doubt a silly means to do it, and then also I can switch between 5 different MIDI channels, and then on top of here there's going to be 2 BeatStep Pros, as well as the MIDI player, which will play some of the more set in stone songs for the tour, and then a MIDI merger, which is going to merge the signals from the BeatStep Pros and the MIDI file player to sit and work with Cosmo. And yeah, I'm waiting for the oscillator design to finally turn up. Quite excited about that, because the oscillator design, where is it? So the difference between these ones and the LFO and stuff that I've done so far and the oscillator design is these ones you have to put wires to the actual jack sockets. The oscillator, I have a separate PCB on the jack sockets. It turns out that these jacks actually sit twice as high, so if you put a pin header on top, you can actually put another row of PCB on top, and you don't have to put all of these squiggly wires on it. But we'll find out if that works, because it's just an attempt. I'll see if it actually does that in practice later on in time. But this is so I've just recorded the video that I'm going to shoot tomorrow. No, I've just recorded the video that I'm putting out tomorrow, and it's something that's quite surprised me actually. Oh, check this out! £20 from the car boot sale. Excelsior! It doesn't work. I've got to find out why. Never seen one before. Pretty hench. Comes with a pedal, but yeah. Basically today, where is it? Today I shot a video using this thing. If you've never seen this before, this kind of measures current, the amperage of certain things. You put a wire in there, and it measures the amperage. So I figured it would be fun to actually figure out like what kind of things around in the building, like in the studio and stuff, use how much energy did they use. And I tell you what, I was very surprised by the findings. So basically we started by using a 100 watt incandescent light bulb, and this ended up using 0.43 amps. You times that by 230 volts, you get 98.9 watts. So that turns out to be a reasonably so quickly this. So this says 0.43. You times that by the voltage, 230 volts, and it gives you the watts, which is about 98.9 watts. So that means that all of these it kind of works. So yeah. So first we did that. So it was 0.43 amps for the old light. And then a new energy-saving LED light bulb, 0.03 amps. And this is where it gets surprising. So after we did that, we were like, okay, let's see what happens. So then we measured a Moog Grandmother, 0.05 amps. And then we compared the Moog Grandmother to some sort of an equivalent, but from back in the day, the Korg MS-10. Amazingly, that came in at, it wasn't even picking up the amount of amperage being used whilst that was being played. Not even, just 0.00. Then we kind of went to the drum machines, a modern one, Drum Brute, 0.03 amps. Well, yeah, compared that up to the Lindrum. Yeah, Lindrum, 0.2 amps. Not that bad considering it sounds like it's guzzling power by the second by the hum of the mains. And then we kind of went a little bit interesting. So we tried using a flat screen TV, which is giving out that 0.13, plugging it into a PS3. So both of these together were using 0.64 amps. And then we went back to the 90s and decided to use a CRT TV as well as a PlayStation 1 plugged in. It used a quarter, no, it used about a third of what the equivalent but modern uses. How crazy is that? Even the TV, it was a similar sized TV, but CRT actually used pretty much the same, had the same amount of current, used the same amount of current as a modern flat screen. That quite surprised me. Then we kind of went to the iMac running Ableton, 0.35 amps. It kind of went up, it jumped up quite a lot when we were using that thing. But I plugged that, I compared that with the Commodore PET. What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Whee! Commodore PET uses about half of that. But obviously you can't do as much with a Commodore PET. But that's surprising. I thought that was going to guzzle it like crazy. But there's a few of the other ones, but skipping along, the heater. So I've got just a little heater, 7.53 amps. That's 8 amps. That is a ridiculous amount of power usage right there. So the heater uses 7.53 amps, yeah? Well, guess how much that whole wall of test equipment, Brüel & Kjær test equipment uses. Go on, have a guess. It uses less than half of what that heater uses. We're going to go down here. Wall of test equipment, 3 amps. 3 amps! How many valves are sitting in there? One single Brüel & Kjær uses the same as the iMac running Ableton. That's mad. And the other funny thing is, the Game Boy Mega Machine uses 0.24 amps. Everything plugged in on the Game Boy Mega Machine. The funny thing is, you actually use more power watching me play the Game Boy Mega Machine than me playing the Game Boy Mega Machine on its own. It's quite funny. I just thought it was really funny. It's just, why not? Studio monitors, 2 amps when it's reasonably loud and bassy. It turns out that if you're listening to more quiet and ambient music that is less bassy, or maybe even folk music, you're less evil than somebody listening to drum and bass or something. So yeah. But yeah, it's just a fun thing. The video is quite interesting. I've probably ruined all of the surprises for you, for the Patreons now, but I just I needed to do this because everybody's like, what's your electricity bill like? What's your electricity bill like? After the video, I plugged in all of these and I turned it on and measured it over there. It uses about 2 amps, which is, people have like one of these in every single room sometimes. And the fact is, this uses a quarter of, including all of this stuff there, just that stuff there uses a quarter of a heater. A small heater as well. It isn't even big. It's like, I'll put it away, but it's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. The kettle is kind of, it doesn't matter about the kettle because you only use it for a minute at a time, unless you're at an old people's home and everybody wants cups of tea. But microwave, same thing with that, but anyway, whatever.